What's up, duelists? Today I've got a very special video for you guys. I am joined by that boy, Thomas. You just got top 8 this weekend at the Ultimate Time Wizard at YCS Raleigh. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing today?
Doing great. Yeah, it was a great weekend. I had some good matchups, and it just went pretty well.
Hell yeah, man. So how'd you get into Edison format? Have you been playing Yu-Gi-Oh a long time, or?
So I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh in 2011, like right when Photon Chocolate came out, and so I didn't have the original Edison. I wasn't playing back then. Um, and then I didn't play for too long. I kind of quit after Necro's format. The game was getting just kind of changed a lot. It wasn't really my thing anymore. But I got back into it at Nats because it was at Raleigh. I might as well go. So I'm a local here.
That's awesome, man.
I've been playing the past year.
That's really cool. Do your homies play or something like that, and you just get into it because of hearing about it through friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, just yeah, reconnect. Because I'm still in a bunch of groups, bunch of like Facebook groups, and just everyone just started getting back into it after they heard of the big tournament at Nats, and it's just been our thing for the past year again. It's great to play Yu-Gi-Oh again. Great format.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun to hang out with the homies and stuff. So this deck, this Machina deck, is this a deck you're a big fan of? Is this a deck you've been playing for a long time, or is it just something you thought would be like a good metagame pick or something like that?
It's funny because probably 2 weeks ago, I would have been playing Bayou Turbo. I've been playing Bayou Turbo for the past like 8 months. And I was just getting sick of drawing Bayous. I was getting bored of the deck. I wanted to choose something else. Um, and I always really liked this deck after I saw Eddie's deck, the debate at your tournament or WT Orlando. And his version was a pretty wild. That guy actually goes to my locals.
Oh, sick.
Um,
That's really cool.
I got off the deck, and yeah, I just picked it up, and it's just been working really well.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it got you all the way to top 8. You've got some cool tech cards here. You've got the main deck Fossil Dyna. How was that card for you? That's something we don't see in the main deck too often.
Yeah, kind of two interesting cards. Yeah, that, and then I got a one of Regeki break. Both of those, when I do them, definitely overperform. Um, Surprisingly, the Vanity's Fiend and the side deck kind of underperformed today. Um, but always getting that Call of the Haunted, chaining Call of the Haunted to Falsadina. I happened once in the tournament where I chained it to America Fusions.
That's
Great call.
disgusting. Yeah, that's really nuts. That's like kind of a Vanity's Emptiness, like build your own. Uh, kind of
Yeah, exactly.
trap stun for miracle fusions or for whatever special summon card. That's really cool. No, I really like that tech inclusion. And you liked the full like triple hamster, triple Caius. That was like another thing that you felt strongly about including like in such heavy counts in this deck.
Yeah, the hamster definitely. I would not drop that down. I did side one out sometimes, and sometimes I would side two out for the Cyber Dragons. I'm doing second. Most of the time, hamster just so crazy, simply because it gets Ryko out of the deck, and then Ryko mills, and that just sets Pot of Avarice live almost immediately. And
Yeah.
as for Caius, I was deciding, between. So I have two Machine of Force, and I was deciding I wanted to play five of Machine of Force and this, because those are kind of the main bricks in the opening hand going first.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense. Yeah.
I was just looking at them, and Machine of Force is searchable. I got 5 copies of it. Caius, both insane cards if you draw them at the time. So I thought, if I drop Caius down to two, I wouldn't see it as much. And, there was one hand where I drew three of them and dropped that shit at me, and I did, yeah. Obviously, I'd already lost at that point, but it was pretty fun.
That is pretty funny. Just showing him the full house, basically, the triple Kai's hands. No, that's sweet.
Hold
I'm
my hand with triple fire.
That's actually hella funny. Were you able to like make a comeback, or was that just like kind of curtains at that point?
That was the one. That was my only loss in Swiss.
Interesting. So speaking of
Yeah.
like your Swiss and everything, what were your matchups like? What did you play against a lot of?
I actually played against three zombies was the most common deck I played against. Um, and you could see on my side deck, there's a certain card right at the end there, Terra Iron Wall. Pretty sick against zombies. It
Yeah, that card's pretty nasty. It stops Book of Life, stops Mizuki and Dark Arm Dragon, as well as Caius too. Do you have to like side your Caiuses out when you side in the Imperial Iron Walls? Is that something you consider doing?
yeah, definitely. Because yeah, 'cause I usually in a matchup like that, you definitely want the Vanity Fiend in too. So usually it would be two bias out for the Vanity Fiends.
That makes sense. That actually makes a ton of sense. So you played against three zombies. Was there anything else that was like kind of surprising to you, or was it all pretty much like stuff you'd seen before?
I only played one Bayou and one Cure Blackwing in the tournament, which is kind of surprising. Even though there were four Bayous in top eight. I only played one of them, which the guy he beat me, and he was the guy who got second on first list.
Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, played against one Frog, one Quick Draw. Um, I lost in top eight. I lost to the Amaryllis guy who got second place. That's a pretty rough matchup.
Yeah, that matchup seems kind of brutal. Titaniel's kind of a beating against all of this. You have a lot of targeting cards here between the compulsory, the Regeki Break, and then you've got Book of Moon as well as Raikou, Caius's, that sort of stuff.
Just just shuts down Ryko, shuts down Fortress. Yeah, that was a rough matchup. Definitely X Saber God was MVP in that matchup.
Yeah, yeah. If you can make a 3100, you can run over those dudes. Is there anything you would change about the list if, like, for example, Amaryllis started becoming more popular?
I think so. Yeah. I'm thinking I might move Caius down to two. Uh, it did clog a little bit. I think that was probably the only thing that really clogged. And like I said before, I think also done it with him, so that could honestly go up with one.
Yeah, yeah. I could
Um,
totally see it too. It's really good versus those Amaryllis. It's good against frogs too as well. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
is.
and I definitely did benefit because people weren't expecting this deck, so like people, a lot of value players aren't playing Cyber Dragon anymore. Like I
Yeah,
didn't get Chimera Tech a single time
in the
in the
entire
tournament.
tournament, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, awesome for you, of course, but not awesome for them. Destroyed. That's really cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people are cutting Cyber Dragon, and like obviously nobody's playing System Down, so it kind of is
yeah.
a great time to be playing the machine decks. What do you think the Vayu Turbo matchup is like? Given that they've cut the Cyber Dragons, do you think it's like favorable, unfavorable? Like, where would you place this deck in that head to head?
I think it is favorable. I think Fortress is really hard for them to deal with. Um, I think the Imperial Iron Wall was great against the zombies. Um, but when I played against Fire Turbo, it kind of slowed them down. But unless I really push, it doesn't really do enough. So Imperial Iron Wall might stay in the deck. I might go back to playing DD Pro myself. Of course, the Iron Wall protects my pot of addresses from DD Pros. That's another reason. And so DD
Yeah,
Prison and Bottomless are often drops.
yeah,
But
yeah. The Iron Wall does have a lot of like other like removal based applications, like it's stopping, like you said, Deep Prison, Bottomless, even Caius, or just like strange shit. Like it actually stops System Down if you ever come across that, which is kind of nice. Uh, one thing I did
um,
notice.
but
You're good. You're good. One thing I did notice from a Machina player that I've kind of been following is there's this Machina player on the East Coast who who's been main decking double Kaiku and Chaos Sorcerer in his Machina deck. What do you think of that? Is that like something you'd consider trying, or do you think that that's a little bit too weird? Or
Well, I'd have to change a few things. Honestly not the biggest fan of Kaiku, just in general. I understand why he's playing it. You know, it is definitely good in any group that you're playing Pot of Avarice. And obviously, it's just a good card in value if you get attack on it. Like if your opponent goes normal summon Refer, pick a card, and then you just Kaiku them, you're so far ahead. It's something to consider. I think the deck's biggest weakness is just drawing too many normal summons. Like a lot of times it happened to my hand was just like, Gear Frame, Ryko, Pius, Lila, and I can only use one of those cards per turn. I think that's the biggest weakness the deck has.
do you think
Um,
if the deck
and
had like more machines in it, like something maybe worse than Caius, but a similar role, like Blowback Dragon? I mean, that's a meme option, but if you had like Cyber Dragons in the main, do you think that that would like help improve the fact that it's so normal summon reliant, or is that just something that the deck will always have to deal with?
yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Silver Dragon in the main. I think that just drawing a starter, that like I put in I've seen a lot of decks not playing Call Wanted. And you just need some extenders like that. I think that could be what you're saying there. Well, like Dragon specifically. I think playing something like putting Cyber Dragons in the main deck could be what this deck needs to go a little further. Because that was the worst hand I had today, were just a bunch of monsters.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But
Um,
overall, really sick stuff.
I don't think
What's up?
I might change the side deck a little.
Yeah,
I did play one Christmas one, so I did bring in the light mirrors, but it is a little awkward because the deck really revolves around Echo. Like it's super important in this deck.
yeah. I was just looking at those. I actually thought they were shadow mirrors for a second there, but yeah, it looks like they are light mirrors. Interesting. With all the milling, yeah. How did you feel about it? Did you feel like it would just hurt the Lightsworn decks a little bit more, or did you feel like I don't know. What do you think
It
about
was
those?
just against for Fairy and Lightsworn, yeah. It's just that if they don't have their effects, they really all they have is bonus to try to get over fortresses, and that's really what I was trying to do. And it since I'm playing triple Caius, setting up the getting rid of the right moves just can allow me more opportunities to punish them.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you played against Christius Warren, I'm assuming like you obviously beat them, but what is that matchup like? Because that's kind of an interesting matchup. I've never played Machina versus Christius Warren before. Is it hard? Is it something you want to face, or is it something that like you're kind of on edge about, or how do you feel about it?
I think Lightsworn just in general, Sworn probably even further. It's a matchup that I never want to play against, just because it's less about what I draw and it's more about what they know. Um, and I think I don't want to play against it. I think Dungeon Dragon suck. Because my main trap that I'm playing is Pulse. That's Pulse is so good in this deck. Bouncing your own gear frame is always insane. Bouncing your Lilo, bouncing your Fortress if it gets bottomless.
Yeah,
So
compulsory's
yeah, I
like
think
utility here is very good, but it's definitely not the best trap card versus Lightsworn for sure. I can see that.
and a little bit about my trap cards. I think I'll get a meme down a little bit for only playing one bottomless. But it's just kind of my play style. I like having. If I'm gonna draw two traps, I like them to be different. And Pulse is just by far the best for this deck specifically.
Yeah, because it's not only a trap card, but it can help you like help you play through. It's almost like an extender in a way too, because it helps you play through back row. So kind of a dual
Right.
purpose.
Because if you open, yeah, because if you I mean, it happened multiple times yesterday where I opened Gear Frame Compulse Scores. And I just normal summon Gear Frame, search Fortress, set Compulse. They go to attack me. I just Compulse my guy and walk over. That happened multiple times yesterday during the tournament.
That's disgusting. I also know that compulsory can help you, like, if people do start putting cyber dragons back, they special cyber dragon and try to contact with your gear frame. You just compulse your own gear frame. Now they have the cyber dragon sitting there, and you can contact with it on your turn. So, um, yeah, just a really strong card in this deck. This is really sick, man. It's cool to take something that's like not. Well, I don't want to say it's not the meta, but it's definitely not like the most played deck, and have a really good tournament run. That's really cool. Do you think you'll be playing this deck more in the future?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I've kind of got too bored of Value Turbo. I mean, the deck does play pretty similar. I mean, in terms of just set Rekka or set Hamster Pass. But playing Pot of Avarice is such a rewarding card. It just feels so good to resolve upon it.
I agree. I agree. It rewards you for playing the game, which is kind of like the what I like about Pot of Avarice. It's a really sweet card. Really solid stuff. Is there any other deck that you're like thinking you might want to try in the future, like something that you faced against, or something that's kind of like been on your mind since you've gotten back into the game, or is this just kind of what you're focused on as of right now?
I think that's what I'm currently focused on, but that Amaryllis deck that beat me definitely is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that deck is sick. Thank you so much for joining me, Thomas. I think that's gonna be it for this, but congratulations on your top eight. That's really sick. What did you get for top eight? Is there anything that they gave you? Is there like a prize or anything?
There was just the hamster mat and then some tickets that I used to. I got a 250th YCS mat. Um,
Okay,
for third place, they got like a card. First place got like a really giant card. But for
interesting.
top eight, yeah, I just got a hamster.
That's kind of brutal. I'm not gonna lie. We need to get you some prizes, bro. We need to get you something. That's tough. That's a big event to get top eight in and not get like. I mean, like mats are cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's definitely a trophy, but dang, that's tough. Anyway, thank you so
Yeah, and
much.
I had to I had to beat my brother to get it. I faced him in six.
Oh, that's brutal, dude. That's rough. What deck was your brother playing?
He was playing pure Blackwing.
Pure Black Wings. Is that a good matchup for this deck, or?
He's a very good matchup. Hamster destroys that deck. I mean, Icarus attack obviously, but he just set one, and they got to waste a clue. It's a really good matchup. I destroyed him.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, and it's gonna live on forever in this interview, and your brother's gonna have to hold that. Um, but thank you so much for joining me, Thomas. That's gonna be it for this segment. And where can people find you? Do you have like a Twitter or something that you want people to follow you on, or something like that? Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, but I'd like to shout out Big Boy Gaming in Smithfield, North Carolina. They host some great tournaments. Um, and our local game store is called Underworld Games. We play every we have locals every Thursday. We
Cool.
try to get as many people as possible.
So that's Underground Games and Big Boy Gaming. Those two shops.
Underworld Games.
Underworld Games. My bad. My bad. I misheard you. Yes, Underworld Games. Check them out, guys. Go play some locals. Go support your local scene, especially if you're in the Raleigh area. You guys have a pretty poppin' Edison scene, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting pretty good. That the Big Boy Gaming they hosted like a 5K in December, 3v3 in March. So we've been getting some really good turn.
Hell yeah. Check them out. Smash like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next vid. Peace.